Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today is January 16th, 2026. Now, I know usually when we start the date is just, a formality. But today, I want you to really look at that date, and I want you to pair it with a specific stock ticker I've been staring at all morning. 0000720KS.
Ah, Hyundai Engineering and Construction, the
Yeah.
grandfather of the industry.
The big one, the original. And I have to be honest with you, and I think a lot of our listeners might feel the same. When I see Hyundai E&C, I have this very specific, almost dusty image in my head.
Let me guess. Yellow hard hats.
Yellow hard hats, massive piles of dirt, the Hill State logo on the side of a generic apartment complex in Seoul, maybe a highway. It feels like the ultimate old economy stock.
Heavy.
Very heavy.
And that's the traditional reputation. I mean, since 1947, they have literally poured the concrete foundation of modern Korea. They are the builders.
Right. But we have this report in front of us today. It's a global hedge fund style analysis, and it is claiming something that, frankly, sounds a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that if you are still looking at this company as just a builder, you are completely missing the plot. It says we're looking at a company in the middle of a massive identity crisis.
But in the best possible way.
In the best way, yes.
It's a fascinating read. The core argument is we are witnessing a metamorphosis. They are arguing Hyundai E&C is morphing from a traditional construction firm into a global energy giant.
Okay, global energy giant sounds great in a marketing brochure. But here is the problem I'm having right off the bat, and I want to challenge you on this. I'm looking at the valuation. As of today, the stock is at 104,300 Young Won. But the price-to-earnings ratio, the PE for 2026, is projected at, 22.7?
Which is high.
High. It's astronomical for a builder. Usually, construction companies trade at a PE of 6, maybe 8 on a good day. It's a low-margin grinding business. A PE of 22 is what you give a tech stock, so is a market delusional.
It is the multi-trillion-won question, and the answer is re-rating. It's a finance term, but it basically means the market has decided to change the category the company lives in. Think of it like a bookstore moving a book from the history section to, I don't know, the science fiction section.
Or maybe the future tech section.
Exactly. The market is saying, we don't care about the apartments anymore. We aren't paying for the concrete. We are paying for the energy transition. They're betting this isn't an old economy builder anymore. They're betting it's a critical infrastructure player for the new economy, specifically for AI and data centers.
Okay, so they are pivoting. But talk is cheap. I can say I'm an astronaut, but until I get on a rocket, I'm just a guy in a suit. So let's look at the actual order book. This report throws around a massive number, 40 trillion won. That is an enormous pipeline. But is this 40 trillion real, or is this monopoly money?
That is a fair skepticism. In this industry, pipeline can often just mean wish list.
Yeah.
But this report breaks it down into what they call a visible portfolio.
Unpack visible for me.
Visible means Hyundai E&C is either the preferred bidder, they are in exclusive negotiations, or it is a domestic project that is effectively guaranteed. It's not just a sales pitch. The 40 trillion is anchored by massive tangible projects, the Bulgaria Kozloduy nuclear plant, the domestic Shinhanul units 3 and 4, and then future stakes in the Czech Republic and Romania.
Let's drill down into Bulgaria.
Yeah.
That seems to be the crown jewel here. The report mentions a stake of around 13 trillion won just for Hyundai E&C.
Yes, the Kozloduy project. And to give you a sense of scale, that 13 trillion is roughly equal to their entire annual revenue from just a few years ago. It's massive.
And the timeline. Are we waiting 10 years for this?
No, that's the catalyst. The main EPC contract, the engineering, procurement, and construction contract, and the groundbreaking are expected in the first half of this year, 2026.
So it's imminent.
It is.
Okay, but here's where I get stuck again. Historically, when Korean companies go overseas to build plants, they get squeezed. They win by bidding low, and they end up with a tiny margin, 3%, maybe 5%. Why is this report so confident about a 10% operating profit margin? That sounds way too high.
It would be too high if it were a normal bid. But this isn't a normal bid. This is about the Team USA-Korea alliance. And to understand this, you have to understand what's happened to the American nuclear industry.
You mean the partnership with Westinghouse?
Correct. It's a geopolitical marriage of necessity. Think about the global chessboard. Russia is out. China is out for most Western nations. That leaves the U.S. and its allies. Now, Westinghouse, the American giant, they own the IP. They have the blueprint for the AP1000 reactor. They own the recipe.
Okay, they have the recipe.
But the U.S., they lost the kitchen staff. The U.S. manufacturing and construction supply chain for nuclear has just, well, it's atrophied. They don't have the skilled labor or the experience to build these giant domes efficiently anymore.
So they have the software, but they lost the hardware capability.
Perfectly put. Enter Hyundai E&C. They have the Baraka credibility.
Right, the Baraka plan in the UAE. That was a big win for Korea.
It was the gold standard. While other projects were running billions over budget and years late, the Korean team delivered Baraka on time and on budget. In the nuclear world, that is almost unheard of. It's like spotting a unicorn.
So the U.S. brings the license, and Korea brings the muscle.
Exactly. The U.S. needs Korea to actually execute the project, and Korea needs the U.S. technology. It's symbiotic. And because there are so few teams in the world that can actually pull this off, they have pricing power. That's where the 10% margin comes from. They aren't undercutting anyone because there are no other competitors for this specific type of project.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's zoom out. Why is there suddenly a nuclear renaissance? For a decade, nuclear was a dirty word. Dangerous, expensive,
Yeah.
unpopular. Why now?
2 words. Data centers.
I mean AI.
I mean AI. We are in 2026. The demand for computing power isn't just growing, it's exploding. And the thing about an AI data center is it doesn't sleep. It runs 247. It needs what we call baseload power.
Constant flatline power.
Exactly. Solar is great, wind is great, but the sun sets and the wind dies down. If you are Amazon or Google, you cannot afford for your AI cluster to go offline. They need massive amounts of reliable, carbon-free power.
And nuclear is the only thing that checks every single box.
It's the only one.
Okay, but big tech doesn't want to wait 10 years for a plan. That's where we keep hearing about SMRs, small modular reactors, the so-called iPhone of nuclear power.
Right. Smaller, faster, cheaper. That's the promise.
But I have to play devil's advocate because that promise hasn't exactly lived up to reality. We just saw the huge failure with NuScale. Their project in Utah got canceled because costs spiraled to something like $89 per megawatt hour. So if SMRs are so great, why did that fail? And why trust this bet now?
That is the elephant in the room. The NuScale failure created a massive crisis of confidence. Investors looked at that $89 price tag and said, this doesn't make economic sense.
Right. We'll just stick with natural gas.
Exactly. But Hyundai isn't betting on NuScale. They are betting on Holtec International. And the strategy is fundamentally different. Holtec is targeting a levelized cost of electricity and LCOE of under $60 per megawatt hour.
Oh, from $89 down to under $60. That's a huge gap. That's the difference between a science experiment and a viable business. How are they shaving off almost 30% of the cost?
It's not magic, it's manufacturing. The secret sauce is shop fabrication.
Shop fabrication. Okay, explain that to me like I'm 5.
Okay, think about building a house. You can either bring all the lumber to a muddy lot and build it there in the rain. That's stick-built. It's slow and messy. Or you can build the walls in a warm, dry factory with robots, put them on a truck, and just bolt them together on site. That's modular.
And traditional nuclear plants are the stick-built version.
Exactly. They take 8 to 10 years. Holtec's SMR 300 is designed to be built in modules in a factory. This cuts construction time down to just 3 to 4 years.
So it's faster, but it's still stuck on the price. Does finishing faster really save that much money?
Oh, absolutely. In major infrastructure, time is money. Literally. It's about interest rates.
The cost of borrowing the cash.
Exactly. If you borrow $5 billion and it takes 10 years to finish, you are paying a fortune in interest before you sell a single watt of electricity. It's dead money. If you finish in 4 years, you slash those interest payments by something like 40%. That is how you get the price down to $60.
That's the key I was missing. It's not just cheaper parts. It's paying the bank for less time.
And this is where Hyundai E&C fits in. Holtec is a design firm. They design great equipment, but they don't have the constructability tech. They need someone who knows how to actually build the plant.
So Hyundai isn't just the hired help on this.
No, and this is crucial. Hyundai E&C has the exclusive global EPC rights with Holtec. If Holtec sells an SMR anywhere in the world, Hyundai builds it. They are the manufacturing partner.
That is a powerful position.
Right.
If Holtec becomes the standard, Hyundai wins every time.
And we are already seeing it start. There is a project in Doicești, Romania. They are taking an old coal plant site, which is brilliant. The transmission lines are already there, and replacing the coal burner with SMRs. Hyundai expects a 30 to 40% stake in that. That's another 1.5 to 2 trillion won right there.
It really does sound like a comprehensive portfolio.
Yeah.
You have the massive plants for the grid and the nimble SMRs for the data centers.
But there's always a but.
Uh-huh.
We can't ignore the Korean domestic market. And frankly, looking at Korean construction lately, it's been scary.
Volatile is a polite word for it.
Right. Wait, with housing slump and then the saga of the Global Business Center, the GBC, in Seoul, this was supposed to be the Hanul 5-floor dream tower.
The tallest building in Korea. That was the original plan, yes.
Yeah.
And now it's not. The plan changed to 55 floors. To an outsider, that looks like a failure, a downgrade. Doesn't that hurt the stock?
Visually, sure, it's less imposing, but if you look at the balance sheet, it's actually a savior.
How so?
Building 105 stories is an ego project. The cost per square foot skyrockets as you go higher. It's inefficient. Building a 55-story complex is practical. It's profitable. The report estimates this project is still about 3.5 trillion won in revenue for Hyundai E&C.
That's still a huge chunk of change.
And importantly, the client is the Hyundai Motor Group. It's internal.
Keeping it in the family.
Exactly. The payment is guaranteed. And it likely comes with a solid 8 to 10% margin. But the real key is the timing. Cash flow from the GBC starts hitting the books in 2027.
2027. So right as the nuclear projects are ramping up, this domestic cash cow starts delivering.
Correct. It acts as a financial buffer. It stabilizes the ship.
Okay, but before we get to 2027, we have to survive 2026. And looking back at late 2025, there's a lot of fear. Talk of deficits, the housing slump. Is there a risk that the old economy business sinks the ship before the new economy can save it?
It is a valid concern, but you have to look at how the company is handling it. The expert view here is that any loss we saw in late 2025 was actually strategic. They call it clearing the decks.
Clearing the decks. That sounds like corporate speak for, we lost a lot of money and want you to be okay with it.
It can be, but in accounting terms, it often means the company is taking a big bath. They are intentionally recognizing all their potential future losses now, all at once.
Like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Exactly. Take the hit in 2025 when everyone expects it, and then start 2026 with a clean slate.
So the argument is, the bad news is already priced in, they've fleshed the system.
That's the theory. They are getting the old economy baggage off the books so the new economy nuclear story can shine in 2026, and the projections for 2027. Driven by the GBC and nuclear, the consensus is a return to the 1 trillion operating profit club.
The 1 trillion club. Has a nice ring to it.
It does, which is why the experts view any dip caused by housing fears as a buying opportunity.
Okay, let's take a breath. We have covered a huge amount of ground. If we had to distill this down, what is the nano banana summary? What are the key takeaways?
I'd break it down into 5 points.
Go for it.
First, valuation. Stop looking at that PE of 22 and thinking expensive builder. You have to start thinking reasonably priced energy stock. They aren't selling concrete, they're selling power.
Right, context is king.
Second, the pipeline. That 40 trillion figure isn't a pipe dream. It's a visible portfolio. Bulgaria is the anchor, and it's imminent.
Real money on the table happening this year.
Third, the SMR strategy. The partnership with Holtec is unique. They are targeting that magic 60 orders press by slashing construction time. That unlocks the AI data center market.
The price that makes nuclear competitive with gas. Huge.
Fourth, the GBC. It's the safety net, a guaranteed cash cow starting in 2027.
And number 5.
Timing. The housing shock was likely the bottom. We are now in the window before the Bulgaria contract is officially signed. Once the ink is dry on that, the price might not be waiting for you.
It really feels like we are watching a butterfly emerge from a chrysalis. It went in as a caterpillar that eats concrete, and it's coming out as, well, something nuclear.
And that leads me to a final thought, something to really chew on.
Hit me.
If Hyundai E&C pulls this off, if they dominate the U.S. market, mass-produce SMRs, become the primary builder for AI power, are we even looking at a construction company anymore?
What are we looking at?
We might be looking at the world's first construction-free construction company. One that functions more like a high-tech energy equipment manufacturer, like a GE or a Siemens, but with the unique ability to build what they sell.
A high-tech manufacturer that builds its own products. That is a powerful image. It certainly changes how you look at that ticker.
It certainly does.
Well, there you have it. The deep dive on Hyundai E&C. For everyone listening, keep your eyes on the news for that Bulgaria signing day. It sounds like it's going to be a historic moment. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.